Rob normally is one of our co-hosts. He is not here tonight. He's got some kind of like bullshit work thing going on. But I wanted to get this video of Andor out in a somewhat timely fashion. So I got Andrew on the microphone with me, and we're going to be talking about Andor. We both watched all 3 of the first episodes from Disney. And since watching the 3 episodes, I felt after that point, don't have to worry about spoilers. So I watched a few of the usual suspects, my subscribed channels on YouTube. And the 2 or 3 that I've seen talking about Andor are coming at it like I think they got maybe a big backpedal coming up, because right now they're unwilling to admit that it was actually a lot better than they thought it was going to be. So they're still kind of hesitant. And unlike a lot of shows, the fact that I don't want to say it's been so silent today, but it seems that way to me on YouTube, that a lot of people are actually kind of waiting to hear what other people say about it before they come right out and say it. I'm going to come right out and say it. I had 0 expectations for this show. Andor was probably one of the most forgettable people in Rogue One. And, if you ask me who my favorite characters are and I made a list, Andor would be at the bottom. Him as an actor, I've seen him in a few other things. He never really did it for me as far as great actor, somebody that I was like, oh, fuck yeah, this guy's going to be in this. So I had the lowest expectations possible. Plus, we're all like abused, battered spouses after what fucking Kathleen Kennedy and Disney's been doing. So that was very, very fertile ground for something to come and impress me and do a good job. And that's what I thought the show did. I thought it did a good job. That's what I'll say just initially without getting into details. Where are you coming from with the show?
Oh my God, it was fucking terrible.
Okay, and did Rob feel the same?
Yeah, like it's like the worst Star Wars ever. No, I'm just kidding. I actually loved it, but we get more clicks if we argue.
I know.
So I'm trying to be like, oh my God. I watch some people and they're like, this is the worst fucking thing ever, and like nothing happens. I'm like, dude, like where did this come from?
I think we had this on our schedule as the new thing we were going to watch and dump on.
Right.
And I think it's going to not be satisfying as something to dump on, because I thought it was good.
It's such a good story. Oh my God.
Have you heard Rob's reaction on it? Was he pleasantly surprised?
Mind is blown, because like he just had no interest whatsoever. Just like you, he thought like the least interesting character in a movie that was middling to okay, except for like the last 5 minutes. And he was like, holy shit, where did this come from?
Good. Okay, good. All right.
It doesn't insult your intelligence as a viewer.
It was the most adult, mature thing connected with Star Wars
ever.
Yeah. The fact that he's not starting out as a super spy, the fact that he's fallible as fuck. He owes money all over town. Yeah. Most of his friends don't want to talk to him. And, it's not because he's a skeevy dude. It's because he lives in a hard world and a hard life, and he's basically trying to stay alive. So yeah, he's overextended all over town. So is freaking everybody else.
They were building that so well, but he's not a bad dude. Like I was watching the second view when I was watching it with Rob, again, where they're not beating you over the head. There's like a quick little scene. Remember the guy that tried to shake him down with the alien?
Mm-hmm.
Just before he's getting ready to like jump ship and take off from the planet, you see the guy counting the credits. So he did show back up, and he's like trying to pay off some of the debts that he can before he gets out of there.
Yeah.
I appreciate that the show is done on such an intelligent level that I can go back and watch it on multiple viewings and pick up more stuff.
Yeah, they're not expositing the shit out of everything, so good on that.
And the dialogue is so well, and they're all talking like real people.
Yeah, they're not saying everything evident in front of them. My initial reaction upon the first rainy planet that he was on, my first thought was, holy shit, that's not Tatooine. They're doing a Star Wars show that's not on Tatooine. And I will say this, I will completely reverse every good thing I ever say about the show if Andor actually shows up on Tatooine during this series.
Oh, is that just the one planet you don't want him to go to?
Everything happens on fucking Tatooine, and it makes no goddamn sense. And I fucking hate how everything ends up on goddamn Tatooine. Fuck that.
Yeah,
fuck that place.
I also really liked the feel that it's like World War II Paris. Like when they're occupied and stuff, and they're all just watching out and making sure like no one's spying on anybody, and just the tension.
It had a little bit of that Tarantino's version of Inglourious Basterds kind of feel, where the Nazis are in charge and they're kind of slinking about and keeping their head down, and nobody wants to like raise their head up or say anything too loudly. Everybody's kind of walking on eggshells.
And how cool with the Imperials? The corporate Imperials, like just humanizing them and just making them like seem like real people. doing their job.
One of the things that I always say about The Wire, as far as why it's a good police show, I know Rob's not here, so we can't
I
fuck
know.
with him
We could
about The
actually
Wire.
talk about The Wire, yeah.
It's the one police show ever that I've ever seen that when a new case comes in, they don't fight over who gets it. They fight over, I don't fucking want that. Get rid of that. They go out of their way to make sure somebody else gets that goddamn murder. They don't want anything to do
Yeah.
with that shit. It's the only show ever. I mean, other shows you have like the statey and the county sheriff, and they're all fighting over who gets the murder. I like The Wire because you got McNulty fucking with his ex-boss by, like putting like 13 bodies on his marker board. That's goddamn amazing. So, you get that big mustachioed Imperial guy, the first guy that we see that's like, oh, yeah, murders? You know what, man? What the fuck,
Just the story he came up with telling him to just cover it up without telling him to cover it up, yeah.
We don't need to inconvenience our superiors with knowledge of this shit. Did you ever see Burn After Reading, the Coen brothers, Brad Pitt, Frances McDormand?
Is that the one where the guy gets shot in the face?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That was Brad Pitt in the closet. And
I know,
clean.
right?
Throughout the movie and the very last scene is J.K. Simmons at his desk, like in CIA headquarters. And, he's like, so, he killed this guy and this guy killed this guy and we're not implicated. We're in the clear. Oh, all right, cool. Have a good day, man. See you at fucking racquetball. I liked the way they had the Imperial doing that. I really, really liked the way they had the bad guy, the one bad guy that we can point to and identify. That's the, the young officer.
The Gorman from Aliens, yeah.
Yeah. He was so unsure of himself. I mean, that's exactly how a young officer is. That big Scottish sergeant that was attached to him.
The best sergeant. He did such a good job.
You could tell he knew that he was dealing with a douchebag lieutenant. Yet he bolstered him, talked him up, gave him a chance to make his speech, got all the guys clapping afterwards. I mean, that interaction right there, you could tell the writers know what happened in the military. I thought that was really cool.
I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm afraid before the end of the series, like Kathleen, her name is as a producer, is gonna like get her fingers on this and just do something horrible. But for now, it's just so well done.
It really is.
I can't believe the girl didn't save the day. She got her head bashed in.
They don't seem to be looking for agendas.
But she's competent. She's a very good mechanic.
Plus, she's banging. I've seen her in quite a few things before.
Yeah, she's cute.
In fact, the only time she's ever had a nude scene was, believe it or not, with Pedro Pascal, the Mandalorian. True story.
Really?
Yeah, it was in Narcos.
Oh, nice. Oh, the girl from Narcos. Yeah, that is her, isn't it?
What you were saying a while ago, they don't talk that much. I like that. I like a show where they don't feel the need to explain everything, say everything. I like a lot more silence and looks than talking. So they did a lot of that, and I like that very much.
It looked great.
It did.
Like, it looked lived in. I don't know what team is working on this that's not working on anything else. Like, I don't know. I know the guy that wrote Rogue One worked on this, so he obviously has a vision. I wish they'd just let him keep doing it because he's just doing a great job.
I actually looked it up on IMDb before we did this. His name is Tony Gilroy.
Yeah.
He's the writer and the producer. He has written, produced, and directed quite a few things. And if you look at the list of them, they're not all in one genre. They're a little bit all over the place, but most of them you see are you're kind of like, oh shit, okay, yeah. So he's had a lot of good hits on his record. If you look on him, I didn't look at a single one and go, oh, that was woke crap. So I think, if he stays in charge, if he's the showrunner, and if he's saying what's going on, and there's no like evil Darth Kennedy sabotage, then I think this show is going in a really good direction.
No wonder why the spy stuff's coming off so good in this if he did all the Bourne movies.
Yeah. And I mean, when you're directing the Bourne movies, you deal with a lot of technical advisors, experts who actually come in and like train your actors up and show them how to use guns. I heard that for this show that they had like some Special Air Service, SAS, British Special Forces. They had some of those guys come in and actually train up the actors so they didn't look like complete idiots when they're, using their guns. So that's good. The entire feeling of the show was so much more adult than even Mandalorian. Mandalorian, as good as it was, it had some childish plot moments.
It's a kiddie space adventure.
This is definitely a tangent from what Star Wars normally does, but then you could say so was Rogue One. And that's why Rogue One was so good. So the fact
Yeah.
that they're stepping out of what they normally do, I don't mind that at all. And I think they're doing it very well so far. The slow burn aspect of it. Like some people are like, all right, I just sat through 2 hours, 3 episodes, about 2 hours worth of film, and nothing much happened. I'd say, okay, go back and look at, season 1, episode 1 of Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad is an awesome show. They're going to build shit. There is going to be a slow burn. And if you can't deal with it, that's cool. That's not your cup of tea. But like Ozark, I know Rob's seen Ozark. I don't know if you have the one with Jason Bateman.
It's on my eventual get to list.
I would put that kind of show, not necessarily the plot, but that kind of show, that feeling of show in the same category as Breaking Bad. I would put Andor in that same thing, in that it has that same kind of feel where
Right.
they're gonna like blow your ass away and knock your socks off, but they might not do it every single episode, and they're not afraid to, let shit marinate, not explain everything.
Which is great. For mood, it's great.